Hello and welcome to Sports Night.
It's a big show this week and we've got a ton to get to, including a couple of potential national championships.
Right you are, Nathan, and we only have a half an hour, so the show starts now.
This has to be pretty rewarding. Yeah, it's been a very special tournament for us. But really a very special year, but this group really brought in. I mean, not often do you get 5 guys in the finals. You know, half your team in the finals. That just doesn't happen.
It was go time in lacrosse for the wrestling team. Could they bring home another national title?
Special group of women. Very, very grateful, very thankful for the group of women that we have.
The women's track team also looked to take home their 3rd national title in program history.
And the Waverly Shell Rock boys basketball team looked to avenge last year's state championship loss in the 2012 state tournament. Sports Night begins now. Welcome to the studio.
If I were to tackle Shelby to the ground right now, security would be here in no time.
But a couple hundred feet away in the W, that same activity is a sport, and it's one that Wartburg plays better than just about anyone else in history.
Taylor Umland is live in the Wartburg Wrestling Facility after a trip to lacrosse for the National Wrestling Tournament.
Guys, I followed the wrestling team up to lacrosse this year for nationals while they searched for their unprecedented 4th championship in 5 years. Wrestlers from 61 different colleges and universities converged on La Crosse, Wisconsin, all seeking a shining moment and a national championship. Some teams were represented by a single wrestler, while others, like the Wartburg Knights, brought as many as 10 representatives to the tournament, 1 for every weight class. After all the debating, the seating, and the talking, it was time for wrestling, and the defending national champions from Wartburg certainly didn't disappoint, not in the least. Last year's 174-pound runner-up Brad Banks wrestled a heck of a tournament trying to get back to the podium. After 2 easy decisions, Banks found himself in the semifinals with a trip back to the finals on the line. Matt Farr of St. John's would prove to give Banks all he could handle, but it was Banks punching his ticket back to the center stage. Banks battled number 3 seed Kyle Quate of Ohio Northern back and forth for 7 minutes, but in the end, Banks would be disappointed again, falling by decision 7-4, earning 2nd place at 174 pounds. Sophomore Kenny Anderson came into the 125-pound weight class as the 2 seed and certainly didn't disappoint. After recording a technical fall and a pin to start the tournament, Anderson found himself heading into the final stage after a tight 4-3 semifinal victory over Grant Sutter of Wisconsin Whitewater. In the final, Anderson came out firing on all cylinders against number 1 seed Nathan Fitzenreiter of North Central, recording a quick 2-point takedown and never looking back from there, wrapping up his first national title 6-2.
Looking down in the first 10 seconds, I was like, you can do this. This is only 7 more minutes and you're done till next year, you know? Then I started riding him throughout the match. He was getting close to escape a couple times, and every time we get him back down, I was like, I mean, you just gotta do it, you know? Yeah.
At 165 pounds, Landon Williams came in as the 2 seed and rolled himself through a tough field. After starting the tourney with 2 decisions of 9-0 and 3-0, Landon eked out a 1-0 victory in the semifinals over Kevin O'Brien of UW La Crosse. That led him to the final stage where he met familiar foe and number 1 overall seed Nick LeClaire of Coe College. It was nip and tuck all the way through for the IAC opponents. Williams found himself trailing early, but after a late escape and a takedown in the last 30 seconds of the match, Williams secured his first national championship.
Since he did beat me in the IAC conference finals in the last second for a 5-point move, it made it a little sweeter. I just wanted to get a little revenge.
At the 2 seed of the 141 pounds, Cody Silvestri had a tough road with a tougher end. but after starting the tourney with a pin followed by victories of 1-0 and 2-0, Silvestri found himself in the final on center stage against Bebeto Yahweh, the two-time defending national champion from UW La Crosse. It was an exhausting affair that saw multiple lead changes and every fan on their feet, but when the dust settled, it was the junior from Wartburg claiming his first ever national championship, 11-9.
You know, I didn't just want to sit back and have him wrestle his style. So I knew I was going to have to bring it to him, and that's what I did. And, you know, I just kept the momentum going forward the whole time, and, you know, I just had to stay aggressive and had to fight him until the end. It was just the best feeling in my life. I just had to lay back, you know, just enjoy it for a second, take it all in. You know, it was just one of my best moments in my whole entire life, and, you know, just having that towards the end, it was just a relief.
And last but certainly not least, Byron Tate was looking to become just the 12th NCAA wrestler with 3 national titles in a career. Undefeated this season, Tate would stay just that all the way to the final, picking up 2 pins and a 10-6 decision over Brad Boss of Augsburg to make it to the final stage. Once there, it was business as usual for Tate, who made easy work of 3-seed Dustin Baxter of St. John's in a 7-2 decision that was never in doubt. As if the weekend couldn't get any better, the Knights picked up the team title as well, racking up an outstanding 141.5 points and 8 All-Americans. Augsburg came in second with 86.5 points. This was Wartburg's 4th national title in 5 years and their 7th since 2002.
There's no way this group was... I had no idea we could do these things, and I don't think they did either, but as we went along the season, they just didn't put limits on themselves, and here we are. That kind of taught me along the way, too, that maybe I shouldn't be putting limitations on our team, you know, so now this is a special group, man. I'm pretty lucky to be here.
On Saturday night, the Wartburg wrestling team was granted one more big surprise as Cody Silvestri was voted the most outstanding wrestler by the National Wrestling Coaches Association. From the Wartburg Wrestling Facilities for Sports Night, I'm Taylor Umland.
If you look at the wrestling roster, you will see Dylan Azinger is listed as a senior. Academically, that is true, but due to an injury his freshman year, he did not wrestle, in turn giving him one more year of eligibility. This week, I took a closer look at this Wartburg grappler.
Winner at 184 is Dylan Azinger from Wartburg.
For the wrestler at 184 pounds, Dylan Azinger, wrestling has always been a big part of his life, especially because wrestling is in his blood.
My dad, he wrestled for the University of Illinois, where he was the All-American there, and my uncle, he wrestled at Central College, an All-American there, and he became the head coach there.
Having wrestling as a part of his life for almost his whole life has not always been fun for Azinger.
Such a lifestyle thing that you get caught up into it and you don't see the fun parts in it sometimes, but then you have to look back and kind of see the fun parts in wrestling.
To get to where he is today, Azinger had to put in a lot of hard work and dedication.
I stayed up here in the summer, got a lot of help from coaches and other former guys helped me kind of get to where I needed to be.
His hard work has certainly paid off. Last year, Azinger was named an All-American, and now he is a key contender for the Knights.
He's extremely talented. For him, it's just making his mind up, being confident the whole time, and that's kind of the biggest transformation I've seen in him, is just his confidence grow and actually being able to put a point where he can believe in himself every time he goes out there.
With this transformation came another role on the team for Azinger, a leader.
Now they look at me as a leader, help other kids, and have other kids have the right attitude, kind of give talks and stuff after practice.
You know, for him, it's not necessarily a spoken leadership. He's kind of a quiet kid by nature, but just kind of how he goes about himself, carries himself, just goes to business, you know, and that's kind of what we like about him. You know, he's not out there outspoken. He takes care of business and does things his way.
When describing Azinger as a wrestler, there was one word that came to Coach Keller.
Explosive is probably the word that really comes to mind when you think of him. For him, it's just being to the point where he's attacking the whole time. There's times where he'll come out and attack, and then he'll take a little break. And when he's attacking, he's almost impossible to stop.
Azinger was not happy with how he finished at Nationals last year. But last weekend, he had a chance to reach his goal of a national championship. On day one of competition, Azinger just barely fell 4-3 in the first round match. However, he won his 2 wrestleback matches to stay in the tournament. At the end of the weekend, Azinger finished in 4th place, as well as receiving All-American honors for the 2nd year in a row.
It's kind of disappointing finish, lose first round, that's disappointing. But the way I came back, I was pretty proud of myself. Like coming back, winning 4 matches in a row is pretty tough. You guys got to regroup and come back. Even though I didn't get that last win at the end there, it's tough.
Overall, Azinger is enjoying his time here, and he is looking forward to another year in an orange and black singlet.
It's a great experience. Like going into practice every day, wrestling with the best guys, and the coaches really care about you, want you to succeed.
Just worked his butt off, made the corrections, and the thought that we get to have him back next year is just an awesome thought.
Still to come on Sports Night, the track and field teams were in action at their own national meet. Find out if the Knights were able to claim more than one national title.
And the Waverly Shell Rock boys basketball team was in action in Des Moines at the state tournament. This is Sports Night.